Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone listening, wherever you are. Welcome to our academic podcast series. Yay! A platform where where we discuss important social, education, and economy issues through critical thinking and academic perspective. In today's episode, we will explore one fantastic and relevant topic that directly affect our daily lives. We will discuss smoking on campus. Should it be allowed or completely banned? Uh, and how it influences students and society. Through this podcast, we hope to present balanced arguments, reliable academic evidence, and meaningful insight that encourage all of us to think more critical about the challenge around us. So sit back, relax, and join us for engaging and informative discussion. We are excited to share our ideas with you today. Hello, hello, Silvina Aulia.
Yes.
Welcome back to our academy podcast series. I am your host today. And in this first segment, we are going to dive into a topic that has sparked endless debates across university worldwide, including our own campus. We are talking about smoking on campus, so it be allowed or completely banned. To discuss this critical, we have our guest speaker today. Welcome. So,
Hello guys, I'm Silvina Residenova. Thank you, Reska Safira. It's a pleasure to be here today to discuss this very relevant issue with you and our listener.
outstanding. Now, let's start with the big picture. When we walk around campus, we often see beside some smoking area, or sometimes students smoking near the cafeteria or parking lots. In your opinion, so smoking be permitted within campus area of all?
Well, Reska Safira, looking at it from an objective point of view, smoking on campus presents a significant conflict between personal freedom and public health. On one hand, proponents of allowing smoking argue that university students are adults who, who possess the legal right to smoke. They argue that a complete ban infringes upon their personal liberty and autonomy. From this perspective, the university should provide well-regulated, isolated, designated smoking zone rather than a total prohibition so that smoking students do not feel marginalized.
That is an interesting point regarding person freedom. However, what about the counter arguments? Why do so many educational institutes push for a completely smoke-free environment?
The argument against campus smoking is primarily rooted in health, environmental sustainability, and academic ethics. First and foremost, is the issue of secondhand smoke. Non-smoking students, faculty, and staff are forced to inhale toxic chemical if smoking occurs in shared space like hallways or open areas. Secondhand smoke is proven to cause serious respiratory illnesses. Furthermore, from an environmental standpoint, cigarette butts create immense litter, ruining the campus aesthetic and polluting the soil. University is supposed to be center of excellence and healthy living, allowing smoking guys directly against the core value of promoting a healthy academic lifestyle.
Agreed, the secondhand smoke is a major concern if a campus decides to implement a 100% smoke-free policy. What do you think would be the direct impact on the student and the overall academic environment?
The impact will be highly positive in the long run. A completely smoke-free campus creates an inclusive, clean, and healthy environment. It encourages smoking students to reduce their consumption or even quit entirely, which improves their long-term health and academic productivity. It also sets a fantastic example for the community, proving that the university takes public health seriously. However, to make it work, the campus must provide supportive counseling for tobacco cessation rather than just punishing students who violate the rules.
Brilliant analysis. To wrap up topic, while some argue for designing area out of respect for personal choice, the overwhelming benefit to public health and the information strongly support a move toward a full smoke-free campus. Thank you for sharing your perspective on this topic.
Thank you, Preska. It's all about creating a safe space for everyone to learn.
Okay. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We have our discussion on smoking on the campus. Thank you for joining us in the episode of the Academic Podcast Series. We truly appreciate your time and attention. Remember, critical thinking and informed discussions are essential in addressing the challenges faced by our society. Every user has different perspective, and understanding them helps us become more responsible citizens. We encourage all of you to continue learning, questioning, and sharing your idea, because meaningful change often begins with the thought meaningful conversation. Thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay curious, and keep learning. See you in our next episode of the Academy Podcast series. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye! Welcome back to the second segment of our academic podcast. I'm your host for this season, Silvina Olusidinova. In this segment, we are shifting our focus to a critical socio-economic challenge that triggers heated diabetes nationwide. The impact of fuel price increases. To discuss this issue with academic rigor, I'm joined by our guest speaker, student. Welcome, Breska Safira.
Thank you, Silvina Aulia. I'm glad to switch roles and join you to analyze this very urgent topic using reliable academic evidence.
Excellent. Now, Breska Safira, whenever the government announces an increase in fuel price, it sends shockwaves through society. Could you explain the broad economic impact of this policy and what academic research says about it?
A full price hike is never an isolate, even it has a profound domino effect across the macroeconomy. According to our research article,
Published in the journal.
Published in the Journal of Asian Economy, titled Energy Subsidy Reform and its Macroeconomic Impact. A sharp reduction in fuel subsidies immediately shift the cost burden to the supply chains. Fuel is a primary input for transportation and manufacturing. When fuel costs rise, the cost of distribution could rise significantly. This directly triggers cost push inflation, meaning consumer goods, especially food and daily necessities, become much more expensive for the general public.
Wow, so it directly drives up inflation. Speaking of distribution, how does this affect transportation costs specifically, but for commercial, logistic, and ordinary citizens?
The impact on the transportation is immediate and severe in textbooks on urban economics. Principles of transport economy. It is explained that transportation demands are relatively immensely in the short term. People still need to commute, and logistic companies still need to deliver goods. Therefore, public transport operators are forced to increase fare to survive. For ordinary citizens, this means a large share of their disposable income is eaten up just by daily communication costs, reducing their purchasing power of other vital needs like healthcare and education.
That sounds incredibly tough. Now, narrowing it down to our community, how do this combined factor of inflation and rising transport costs affect university students and society at large?
The social impressions are very alarming for university students, many of whom live on monthly allowance. A fuel hike is a direct financial crisis. A study in the Indonesia Journal of Social Science by Rahma and Saputra highlight the student from low income background face increase financial stress during full basis. They have to spend more on community to campus and buying meals due to food inflation. This often lead to students taking part-time jobs, which can negatively affect their GPA and academic participation for broader society, as argued by the World Bank report on poverty and shared prosperity. Student energy price surge can push vulnerable near poor family right back under the poverty line, widening the wealth gap.
This is very deep and worrying reality. Based on the academic source you gathered, is there any justification or solution that governments typically offer to mitigate the server's impact?
Yes, there is an academic consensus on mitigation, as not in a policy paper by the International Monetary Fund (IMF). Government often raise full price to maintain fiscal sanity because subsidies heavily drain the national budget. However, to AMF emphasize the then for a full reform to be successful and ethical, the money saved from subsidy must be immediately redirected into target social safety nets. This includes direct cash assistance (BLT) for low-income families, free subsidies, public transportation for students, and long-term investment in renewable energy infrastructure so that society can gradually break its dependency on fossil fuels.
Incredible. That gives us a complete, balanced, and evidence-based understanding of the issue. To summarize, while full price increases are sometimes done to mana krisis tadi
Increases.
no. Incredible that gives us complete balance and evidence-based understanding of the issue. To summarize, while full price increases are sometimes done to protect the national budget, the current severe inflation, skyrocket transportation costs, and heavily burden students and society. Therefore, robust social safety nets are non-negotiable.
Actually, personal opinion are not enough. The academic data clearly show that proper structural support is vital during such economic transitions.
Well said, Breska. And that brings us to the end of our project podcast today. We have successfully discussed topic on campus smoking and topic full price impact. Thank you, Breska, and thank you to all viewers and lecturer. We hope this discussion demonstrates our critical thinking and language proficiency. Thank you everyone, stay safe and say goodbye.